How's it going, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Wow, this is not a video I was expecting to make anytime soon, because let's be real, how many of us honestly thought that we would get a Snyder Cut? Not that we wanted it, but that we would actually get it. I figured maybe eventually, years and years down the road, whenever it was kind of too little too late, we would see it, almost like the Donner cut of Superman 2, but we're actually getting it 4 years removed from when we saw Justice League. And I wanted to do this video just as final thoughts before I actually see the movie and give you guys kind of my final expectations before we see it. This is something we've been really hyped for about a year and a half, knowing that it was coming. And I just wanted to give my final expectations of what I want this movie to do. And they're pretty basic expectations, nothing too specific. And then once we actually do see the movie, I'll be putting up a review video, so make sure you look out for that as well. But really the first thing, and this is the biggest thing that I want this movie to do, is I want it to give us a more cohesive trilogy, starting with Man of Steel and then going into Batman v Superman. And I feel like if the movie that we got with Justice League, while you guys know I'm not the harshest critic of the theatrical version of Justice League, while I still admit that there was a lot left to be desired of that movie, I don't think it's just a garbage fire of a movie, but I do see a lot of flaws in it. And considering everything that went wrong with that movie, I think they did a fairly decent job of giving us something that's, in my mind at least, watchable. But I'll be the first one to admit that it does not fit cohesively within the universe that Man of Steel and Batman v Superman set us up for. And I am a big proponent of Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, and I like those movies far better than I like Justice League. And I think they are far underrated and underappreciated. Man of Steel is my favorite comic book movie. If I just had to nail down and give you what is my favorite one, I would say Man of Steel. So I want to see, you can tell through Man of Steel and through Batman v Superman that, especially with Clark and with Superman, Zack Snyder had an end goal in mind, and everything was working towards this end goal. And we see it really strongly with Batman in Batman v Superman. And it's one of the things that I really appreciated about the portrayal of Batman, is we see a lot of flaws in him, but we see at the end, we see the potential for growth, and we see that there was more there, that there were things to come that is going to kind of bring it back to the Batman that we knew. And it was very obvious to me that when Zack Snyder made Batman v Superman, that he was creating a Batman that wasn't necessarily 100% comic book accurate, if you want to say that, as far as he was willing to break rules and stuff, but that was because he was a broken person. He was a broken version of that character that we love. But it was also very obvious that he was setting that up so that he could be restored to more of that Batman that we do love. And I wanted to see that. And I think we got pieces of that in Justice League, in the theatrical version. But I'm hoping that his actual vision of this Snyder Cut of Justice League is going to give us more evolution for those characters, for Batman and for Superman, and make it feel more complete, and just make those three movies together just fit and flow in a very nice way. And you can see the progression of the characters, and you can see all of these things. And that kind of brings me into the second thing that I really want this movie to do, is I really want it to create more love and a richer experience for Man of Steel and Batman v Superman for everyone. I want to see more. Because of Justice League, I want more people to go back and rewatch Man of Steel and rewatch Batman v Superman and see it now in the context of this full trilogy and say, oh, I see what he was going for there. That makes a lot of sense, and bring more of appreciation for those characters that were set up in those movies and for those movies as a whole as well. And I really think that this can do that. I think that those of us that have loved Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, we've seen that, and that's been part of the pain of people hating on these movies for us. And has really killed us not being able to see that completed work and that completed vision. And that's just the beauty and the benefit of getting this, is that we are finally getting that completed vision. And for those of us that did really love it, even from the beginning, not having seen the completed work, it's just amazing, and it's just a surreal feeling knowing that this should do a lot more for it. Because again, if you watch Man of Steel and then you watch Batman v Superman and then Justice League feels very disjointed, and it just feels different. So I'm hoping with this that it's going to alleviate a lot of that, and is going to create a more richer experience and a cohesive trilogy. You guys know that that's my biggest problem with the sequel trilogy of Star Wars, is that it does not feel cohesive. None of it feels like it goes together. There does not seem to be a overlying central arc and plan for everything. It's just kind of, well, we're just going to wing it. And that's kind of how it felt like it went from Batman v Superman to Justice League. It felt very different, and so I'm hoping that maybe with this it'll alleviate some of that. Another thing that I'm hoping for, and this is probably a long shot, but I'm hoping that this will set up for some sequels, and also harkening back to what Walter Hamada said in the DC fandom that we got about a year ago, that they're not scared of doing multiverse stuff. So if they want to reboot Justice League and do something different, or have a Justice League in the CW universe, if what he's saying is correct, then, bring back the Snyderverse. Give us, I want to see sequels to this. I want to see multiverse stuff. I want to see them do more with Zack Snyder's visions, because I know that he had sequels in mind, and I want to see what those were. Even not having seen Justice League, just having faith in him as a director, because I've loved the stuff that he's done. I want to see more from him. And I know from watching interviews that Zack Snyder has done that he is not opposed to coming back and doing sequels if Warner Brothers wanted him to, that he would be willing to do that. I believe he thinks it's a long shot that it'll happen. I believe he thinks this is a one and done deal. And honestly, I think more than likely it is too, which is kind of sad. But if I had my way, this is something that I would want it to do. And again, I think if it creates, I'm going back to this because it's my main thing that I want. I think if this creates a more cohesive trilogy and more of a love for what Zack Snyder has already made, we saw when the fans spoke out, what that did. And let's be clear, it's only because that HBO Max is a thing. And even Zack Snyder himself said that if it weren't for HBO Max, that this movie would not be getting released, it would not be getting seen. They would not have done a theatrical release of it. I think that's a mistake, but that was their mindset. But again, with HBO Max, could we not see, if they wanted to do Snyderverse stuff just for HBO Max, that would be reason enough for me to own it for the rest of my life, just to see stuff from Zack Snyder and to bring back the Snyderverse. I would love that. So I hope that maybe there's some possibilities after we see this. And the reviews have already come out, and they've been very positive for the most part. There has been some stuff that's been a little bit mixed, but the overall consensus is that yes, this is a much, much better movie than what we got in just the theatrical version of Justice League. The characters make more sense. They fit more in line with what we had seen before, and there's more character progression. There's more substance to them, even with Steppenwolf. That there's more to his character and there's more motivation for him and all of those things. And that's what I want to see. That's what I want this movie to do. And that brings me to the last thing that I really want, and that's just more action, better fights, and better CGI. I know that they put a lot of money into this, and I want to see that pay off. I'm not expecting perfect CGI, but I am expecting better than what we got in the theatrical cut of Justice League, because that was horrible. And from the trailers, I do think this is what we're going to get. I have not watched all of the character trailers. I've watched the two main trailers that we got, and then what we got from DC Fandom. I saw that. I've tried not to watch too much of it, but this is a 4-hour movie. I wanted to have good pacing. I wanted to be, and I'm not really worried about all of this because, again, I've seen Zack Snyder's work. I know what the man's capable of. I know he has a vision, and I know he has an art for visual storytelling, and that's one of the reasons why I like him so much as a director. But I want that delivered. I want it to feel like a Zack Snyder Justice League movie with a lot of visual storytelling, with a lot of cool visual effects, good fights, good CGI, and just overall to be an improvement and a richer experience than what we got from the theatrical cut of Justice League. I want to be able to love and appreciate these characters, all of them. I want them to all have good, compelling story arcs, and I just want a good movie, and I want other people to be able to appreciate it as well, and to at least understand more of why we love the Zack Snyderverse. But again, I'm extremely excited for this movie. I just can't even believe that we're going to get to watch it. Less than 24 hours, I'm going to get to see a 4-hour cut of Justice League from Zack Snyder, one of my favorite directors of all times. I've heard so much good stuff on this. I've even heard some people say it's the best thing they've ever seen. I don't know if it's going to be that much for me, but Man of Steel's my favorite, so who knows? We'll see. He's definitely my style of director. I know it doesn't work for everybody, but I love it, and I am so excited to see this movie. I cannot wait. It's been my most anticipated movie for 2021, and I'm ready to see it. But I wanted to give you guys my quick thoughts on just some of the things that I'm looking forward to the most, the things that I want to see this movie do the most and accomplish. And until next time, guys, keep geeking out.